Hey guys, what's going on? This is William with No Pay Films, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create this 3D scene with Saturn and its rings. And we've got our little spaceship over here. And we're going to be using a program called Element 3D, as well as some plugins from Red Giant. So you are going to need some plugins. The first, of course, being Element 3D, which you can get from videocopilot.net. That's an awesome little program for people who want to do 3D effects in their films, and you don't necessarily have to be amazing with 3D programs and things like that. Though I would say you would need to have a good understanding of After Effects and everything before jumping into a project like this. I mean, as you can see, it's pretty messy. It's got a lot of layers, a lot of different things in it. Alright, so we're going to start off by creating a new comp. I'm going to do this in 720p just because it's a little bit easier on my computer, and 30 frames per second. So let's go. Alright, so we're going to start off by creating a new solid, and we're going to call this Stars. 720, good. Okay. Alright, now you're going to need to go into your effects and look up fractal noise. There it is. Okay, so we're going to change this from basic to, actually no, we're going to leave it the way it is. We need to go to transform, scale it all the way down. And you should get a bunch of little, it looks like a, I don't know, like sand or something. And now you're going to go look up, let's see, curves. And it'll bring this up. We're going to take this curve, bring it way down. And that should give you stars. It's a great workaround instead of going out and finding stars on the internet or some sort of background. And we're going to create a new layer, solid, and we're going to call it Element Planet. Okay. Alright, so effects, Video Copilot, Element. And this is going to be our layer with Saturn on it. So, scene setup. We're going to create a sphere here, sphere model. And the first thing that I always do, especially with a project like this, down here you've got all of your little adjustments and everything. So diameter, I'm going to set that to 2, make it a little bit bigger. Segments here, you can see if I drag it down to 1, that does not look like a sphere at all. So we're actually going to bring it all the way up. And that's just going to make it round. Planets are round, so we want it to be round. Alright. So another plugin you're probably going to need to get is Pro Shaders. I think what I did was I used Plaster here. There it is. So I know that doesn't look like Saturn, but Saturn does have some shaded areas and kind of swirly look to it. So alright, so we're going to click on our shade there, change our diffuse color. Saturn is kind of a, there we go. Alright, so in your basic settings at the bottom you have environmental or environment multiplier. So right here you can see, let's go ahead and create a camera real quick. New camera. I set it to 36 millimeters because that keeps it from looking so zoomy. There we go. So you can see with the environmental multiplier on, we've got this light, literally, I guess, a multiplier. And in my opinion, it doesn't look very good. It doesn't look like it's there. So for that environmental multiplier, we're going to turn it all the way off. And okay. There we go, that looks more like Saturn, right? Alright, so let's create a new layer again, and this one we're going to call Ring Mask. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to show you something that's really awesome about Element 3D. We're going to take the ellipse tool. Make sure you're on your ring mask layer. And if you hold shift, it'll create a perfect circle. V for selector tool. Let's move this. Oh, I made it too big. Let's do it again. That should do it. Alright. We're going to make another ellipse in the middle. Alright, and here, proportional grid. So we can select our masks, and if you use the arrow keys, you kind of have like a fine-tuning movement instead of having to drag it around. And we want it in the middle, both of them, the best we can. Alright, so I'm going to turn this off so we can see. Let's change our second mask, the one that's on the inside, to subtract. And that should cut out. This will be your rings. So the ring mask, we don't even need to see it. You just turn that off. And go back into your element. Up here you can do custom layers, custom text and mask. And we're going to pick ring mask. So go into your scene setup and hit extrude. And it's looking, you're done. It looks like Saturn. Okay. So let's see, we need to go to scale or orientation. And I usually set this to -90. Alright, now let's scale that up. And then you're going to set your Z scale to, you can just do like 0.1, and that makes it real thin. But we need to scale it up again, because Saturn's rings are big. Okay. Alright, so let's turn our proportional grid off. C is for the camera tool. I'm just gonna zoom out. Zoom out. And it already looks kind of like Saturn. Not as pretty as this one yet. So let's keep working. So let's go back into our element planet. And these rings might be a little bit too thick. So we go back to our ring mask. Actually, the best way to do it is to create a new mask. So let's go ahead and do that. That looks like it's thinner. That looks good. Make sure this mask is on subtract. And it's thinner. That looks better. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go to our extrusion model and Command D to duplicate it. And we're actually going to scale it down. And that's what's going to give us like these little gaps in the ring. And then I'm going to do it again. And I'm actually going to scale this one up. Let's see how that looks. Alright. So with these rings, we obviously don't want them to be white, so let's change our diffuse color again to like a tannish type color. Alright, Now let's add some lights, and that's how we're going to get this kind of, silhouette feel on the planet. So, new light, and we want it to be a point, and because it's the sun, maybe not so orange, maybe like that. I know the intensity is insane. I think I had it set to like 700, 800, but just bear with me, it works. So we're going to go to two views. This is our horizontal view, and that's going to give us kind of a top-down version of this. Let's move this light. And there you can see we've got our kind of silhouette type feel on the planet. So I'm going to duplicate this light. I'm actually going to move it down. And then our X value, we're going to go right a little bit. And then I'm going to duplicate that one. Move it up. Oops. So, without the lights, with them. So that's looking good. Now let's create our sun. So I've seen a lot of people use another video copilot's plugins. I think it's called optical flares. I do not have that plugin. If you have it, then more power to you. But fortunately I don't. So I'm just going to use a regular old lens flare. So let's do a new adjustment layer and apply the lens flare to it. Where did I put that? There we go. And here's where another plugin comes in. This one is from Red Giant, and it's called Shine. And it is a very awesome plugin. So there it is again, before and after. Now what we can do is kind of play with these. It is kind of overtaking the planet there, so we can actually drop it below our planet, duplicate it, bring it above, and then take the shine off of it, and that keeps the lens flare in front of the planet. Alright, so we're going to create another layer, solid. We're going to call this one fractal, and once again we're going to apply fractal noise to it. So this one we're going to set to smeary, and then spline or spleen or whatever that is, and then invert it. And that gets us this kind of cool, I guess psychedelic looking image. Alright, and I brought my contrast up just a bit, my brightness down just a little bit. We're going to go to Effects, Color Correction, and then Hue and Saturation. So click Colorize, and then let's bring it a lot more yellow. Awesome. So I'm going to get out of my two views here. Command minus to bump out, G for the masking tool. We're just going to make this mask a little bit bigger, because you're going to feather it. F for feather. That's looking cool. Now let's change this to add. And then bring it below. Those two. Alright, I'm going to hit T for opacity. 50%. Alright. Oops. Now that is already looking pretty good. Alright, so let's actually just duplicate our fractal noise here. M for mask, I'm going to get rid of this mask. G. And then we're going to come back through here and change the color to like a blue. Once again, F for feather. Let's feather the crap out of it. Alright, now let's add another adjustment layer. New adjustment layer. And this one we're going to apply curves to. Bring it down a little bit. Alright, and here comes another plugin. We're going to go to Effect. Let's go to this adjustment. No. We need another adjustment layer. So I'm just going to duplicate this. Get rid of curves. Effect. Red Giant Shooter Suite. And that's going to let us do Letterboxer. We're going to set this to a 2.35 to 1, which is anamorphic. And that's looking pretty good. Yeah. Alright, so let's bring this fractal noise down a little bit. Let's go 20% on this one. If you hit enter, it allows you to rename things. So let's go ahead and rename this one to fractal blue. I'm going to bring it down again. Let's say 15%. Awesome. So with this original fractal layer that we had for our star, we're actually going to animate. So with evolution up here, you can click the stopwatch. That's going to set a keyframe. Let's go to the end of our comp. And if you type 0.5 right there, it's going to do it 180 degree change. And it's just slight difference there. And you can really play around with lights even more. On the planet, in the original comp, I think it was a little bit more dramatic type lighting. Let's see if we can bring this down a little bit more. There we go. So let's go ahead and do our camera. So in your camera options here, transform. So a quick keyframe there. Go to the end of our comp. If you hit C to this little tool, it's the zoom. We're going to just zoom in slightly. I think we need a little bit more light. That's looking a little bit better. And you can definitely do this effect to the entire planet and make it a complete silhouette with like a ring around it, which would look pretty cool as like an eclipse or maybe a black hole. But basically all you do is you have your 3D object and you create all of your lights back. and to the left or to the right, which is going to give you this kind of silhouetted, or I guess halo effect on your 3D object. Alright guys, and that's a really quick tutorial on how to create some pretty cool space type scenes using After Effects and Element 3D. Make sure to go check out our channel for more how-to videos. I hope that helps. I'll see you guys later. Bye.